bimbo, and slut.
Skanks.
And it's just fun to have people like that around.
Welcome to More Girls Next Door, the podcast where I recap, review, and rehash your favorite Y2K reality series, The Girls Next Door. I'm your host, mega fan, and Y2K survivor Megan. Come on to my house. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for the very first episode of More Girls Next Door. If, like me, you spent your Sunday nights in the mid-2000s with 3 bouncy bleach blondes and the E! Network, then you're among friends. We've got some serious lore to explore on this podcast. Together, we'll journey down memory lane, also known as 10236 Charing Cross Road, Holmby Hills, Los Angeles, California, the former address of the Playboy Mansion, where the daily lives of Playboy founder Hugh Hefner and his 3 living girlfriends, Holly Madison, Bridget Marquardt, and Kendra Wilkinson, were documented for our amazement, entertainment, and eventual nostalgia fix. Today, I'll be rewatching and reacting to Season 1, Episode 1, appropriately titled Meet the Girls. This premiere aired on August 7th, 2005, and with each episode that I recap, I'm going to give you something notable and nostalgic from the same year. Today's Y2K reference was a fashion statement and wardrobe staple. I'm talking about low-rise jeans. The lower, the better. If you weren't at risk of exposing thong with the slightest movement, then you promptly went home and cut off your waistband. Oh yeah, we wore them low and proud, and often paired with a ridiculously wide, 2 sizes too big belt slung around our hips, not our waist. Complete the look with what we called a going-out top and neon pumps, and congratulations, you were legally registered in 2005. Now, are you ready for a look back at an era in pop culture that not only shaped a generation, but sculpted the bunny booties of every low-riding, hip-hugging, bedazzled, jeans-wearing girl next door? Then kick off your candies, hang up your trucker hat, and silence your sidekicks. Let's get into Meet the Girls.
Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy.
Right off the bat, and with that roaring 20s meets Vegas theme song, Come On to My House, I'm instantly transported. I remember exactly where I was when I watched this pilot for the first time. I swear I can still smell the synthetic leather of my then boyfriend's shiny black sofa. Bless him for tolerating my TV choices, though, honestly, considering the scenery of The Girls Next Door, I'm sure he didn't mind. One more thing before we dive in, when filming began, Holly was about 25, Bridget was 31, Kendra was 19, and Hugh Hefner was 79. Let that marinate for a second.
Good morning, the Playboy Mansion. Can I help you?
Right away, sir. Thank you.
We open at the gates of the Playboy Mansion. Stone walls, exotic birds, and of course, girls in bikinis bouncing on trampolines. Immediately, it's indulgent and surreal. We see chefs, servers, staff. One of them is carrying a tray upstairs. She knocks on Hef's bedroom door, opens it, dogs go wild. And there he is in bed. Looking straight at the camera, he says,
Hi there.
Hi there. Fourth wall broken. And Hef's bedroom, not a chic bachelor pad or sophisticated mogul's haven. It's cluttered, stacks of magazines, papers, piles of stuff. A giant Mickey Mouse plush? It's giving hoarder vibes, and we see right away that behind the glam, this place is very lived in. There's almost an Arrested Development vibe to it that feels important. I should mention here, Holly and Bridget now have their own podcast called Girls Next Level, where they rewatch episodes and spill some tea. I'll reference it at times because they've added context over the years. One thing they've talked about a lot is how messy the mansion really was. And another interesting detail, Hef was the only one allowed to break the fourth wall. No one else could overstep like that. We see the grotto, more barking dogs, Playmates, and that iconic Playmates at Play sign, which appears to have yellow tape covering something. I've long suspected it once said Children at Play, but got rebranded when Hef divorced and recreated himself into Mr. Playboy. Very symbolic.
Hey, I'm Holly. I'm originally from Alaska, and I live now at the Playboy Mansion. I'm Hef's #1 girlfriend. Hef and I have been dating for 3.5 years. I was intimidated by Hef when I first met him. He seemed really imposing and scary. After Hef's and my first date, I moved in 2 days later. I guess you could say we're made for each other.
The first girlfriend we meet is Holly. She's a full Y2K vision. Low-rise jeans, mint green crop top with a number 5. Graphic tees everywhere this season, by the way. We might need a tally. Holly's also wearing one of those edible candy necklaces that, as kids, I can remember was a thing. You could wear it and you could eat it. And this shows us right away maybe the emotional maturity that we're going to experience with some, if not all, of the girlfriends. Holly is from Alaska, but now lives at the mansion as Hef's #1 main girlfriend. She shares a room and a bed with him. We learn they've been together 3.5 years, and she moved in after 2 dates. 2. Now that's Holly's version. But make sure to listen to the bonus episode I've released, which is a deeper dive into how Holly, Bridget, and Kendra each came to live at the mansion as one of Hefner's girlfriends. It's pretty interesting how those origin stories seem to have gotten filtered down or cleaned up before the girls adopted them as their own. In order to understand the subtle themes of the show like hierarchy and competition, you need to know how different the paths Holly, Bridget, and Kendra took to the mansion really were. So I've laid out the truth in that bonus episode, and I suggest you give that a listen after this one.
I've ever had. He says it's the best relationship he's ever had, but I don't know if I believe that. He might just be saying that.
Back to Holly, who says she's extremely devoted to Hef and knows people think her life revolves around him. She reveals that this is the best relationship she's ever had. She says Hef tells her she's the most important girlfriend he's ever had. Then she hesitates and admits that she's not sure she believes him. And right there, episode 1, we already see the insecurity. It's honest, it's raw. I'm in. Next is Bridget, who Holly explains came in during the era of the 7, when Hef had 7 girlfriends. None of the girls next door look back fondly on that time. It was competitive, jealous, and uncomfortable. We see a photo of Hef with 6 women, including Cybergirl, Crystal Camden, and Isabella St. James, author of Bunny Tales, one of the earliest Playboy memoirs. Guys, I devoured that book in my 20s. I wonder how it would hit now. I always felt that Isabella St. James was one of the most beautiful girlfriends of Hef's past. Bridget's interview is in her pink bedroom surrounded by stuffed animals. Hello Kitty teddy bears, Cabbage Patch dolls. Again, grown women, childlike accessories. Not an accident. Her outfit is adorable, though. Blue and white polka dots with accent bows and cap sleeves. Psst, FYI, this is one of my favorite outfits of Bridget from the entire series. Bridget explains that when she became a girlfriend, there were tons of girls competing and always a line or a gang of girls waiting to get through the door. But she was just there to have fun, not to get anything else out of it. We'll circle back.
You get to know Hef and you really care about him, and everyone who meets him just falls in love with him. He's the sweetest guy, and you want to be part of this. And I just thought, what a great opportunity. I can't turn this down. I've come this far. I can't turn this down and go back to Lodi.
Bridget talks about how much she loves Hef and how generous he is. And I have no doubt that these are factual statements. I have no doubt that Hugh Hefner was very generous. And yes, I'm fully aware of the darker side of his legacy. I'm not excusing anything, I'm just reacting to what's presented. We learn Bridget is from Lodi, California, has a Persian cat named Gizmo, and has a master's degree in communications. She's portrayed in this intro episode as the intellectual of the group.
For just over 3 years. I am one of them. One of the girlfriends. Mama, want some coffee?
Okay, guys, check out this little subconscious gesture here from Bridget in her intro interview. She says, I am one of them, one of the girlfriends. And as she's speaking, she does this movement with her arms like a robot or a Stepford wife. It's kind of funny to see that and take note of that now. I mean, I don't think back then Bridget would have knowingly put out any message that wasn't in a good light of her girlfriend status. But here, she makes this gesture that is completely missable, but it seems to say a lot. We learn that Bridget has a goal, and I mean an ultimate goal. As a little girl, as young as 4, Bridget would sneak and look through her father's Playboy magazines. And pause, please. Because it seems like there are so many girls who have this same story. It's like, parents, you are not hiding these things very well.
Bridget told me that she's always wanted to be a playmate. She feels like that would be achieving all she could achieve both in body and mind.
Playboy's something that I always wanted to do. My dad used to get the magazine, and I knew I wasn't supposed to look at them, but they weren't hidden or anything. So when my parents weren't around, I would thumb through it and think, oh my gosh, I want to look just like those girls when I grow up. And I was really little, like probably 4. And I would just think, I want to be beautiful like that someday.
Bridget's entire identity and her life goals for achieving all she can in mind and body revolve heavily around becoming a nude centerfold in the magazine that inspired her at a mere 4 years old. So that's the other part to the comment that I made. Is she really here without any expectations of getting anything out of it? Next up, Kendra. We meet her in sideways ball caps, teeny bikinis, and full tomboy energy. She's athletic, muscular, bleach blonde to the point of opacity.
Kendra is the youngest girlfriend. She's from San Diego, California. Kendra has been a girlfriend a little over a year now. I think Hef sees Kendra as really fun and enthusiastic, and she's just a nice...
Holly narrates, and she explains that Kendra is the youngest. She came into the mansion from San Diego at only 18 years old, and she's been there for a little over a year so far. Then, a flashback to how Kendra met the Hugh Hefner. This story has been told over and over, and this little clip is actually revisited time and time again throughout the series. It's Kendra as a mansion party painted girl. She's wearing nothing but tiny, strategically placed rhinestones. As the legend goes, before one of Hef's famous parties, someone had printed out a color photo of the painted girls and left it in Hef's office. When Hef came across the photo, he was completely enamored with one girl, Kendra Wilkinson. He finds her at the party, and the rest is history. Kendra's in massage school, and we see several clips of her in scrubs and training at her massage institute. It's clearly something directors and producers wanted us to know, that Kendra had goals in life pre-Playboy Mansion. Kendra is really athletic, and she's absolutely into sports, and that's going to be something that sets her apart from the other girls. We even have Holly, who chimes in and notes that Kendra is different from us. She's kind of a tomboy. Kendra mentions that Hef saved her life, and from her perspective, I believe that's true. Notably, Kendra gets the most screen time in these introductions, and that feels intentional. Here's the dynamic that's forming. Holly equals control. Bridget equals intention. Kendra equals freedom. And guess which energy Hef seems most entertained by? If you know, you know. The animals of the Playboy Mansion were a huge, huge factor in this series. So we meet mansion mascots Archie and Littlefoot, 2 dogs I would have protected with my life. But the use of yapping dogs as a soundbite was overkill in this series, I'm just saying. Next, Mary O'Connor, Hef's longtime assistant, helps to check if Holly's puppy's parts have dropped, which tells you everything you need to know about Mary's job description. Can you even imagine all this woman witnessed over her lifelong career beside Hugh Hefner?
I think there's 2 main adjectives that people think when they see us: bimbo and slut.
Bridget says people think the girlfriends are bimbos and sluts. I'm sorry, bimbo makes me laugh. It's such a vintage insult. It also shows her insecurity and honestly her constant emphasis on loving Hef for the right reasons. It feels strategic, more like damage control.
The reality is, I am not a gold digger. I'm not a hoe. I never even thought about having a multi-millionaire boyfriend, you know? How would I be a gold digger? You know, I'm not at all.
Back to Kendra, she's in her room playing with her dogs, Rascal and Martini, a Corgi, and Jack Russell Terrier. She insists she's not a gold digger and never had an agenda. All 3 girls in episode 1 are already defending themselves. We're not bimbos, we're not gold diggers, we love him. It's interesting that before we even see major conflict, they're already bracing against judgment. Holly lists the 5 questions people always ask her. Are you in the magazine? How many girls live there? Does he pay you? Do you have sex? And wait, okay, that's only 4. She said 5 questions, but she only listed 4. Anyway, she answers only the last question. And she says, we do everything a normal boyfriend and girlfriend do. Very smooth, Holly. Holly adds that she'd marry Hef and have his children tomorrow if she could. At the salon, the girls are getting ready for the AFI Awards. Holly wants Princess Leia hair because she loves Star Wars. An unexpected nerd moment, and I like it. Doing some homework while getting her hair blown out, Bridget admits she wasn't popular in school. This reminds me of an episode of Girls Next Level where Bridget's sister Anastasia was a guest, and she mentioned Bridget being a skater girl back in her adolescence. And Bridget shuts this down so fast. It was really interesting. I don't quite understand her attachment to image. It's like we all know that we go through phases during adolescence. No big deal, Bridget.
Hey, Chris, come on in. Oh, yeah, that looks pretty. We're going to match. Totally.
We are the same color.
We're going to be identical.
Oh, my gosh. Do you mind?
Yes. Go change.
Oh, man.
Back at the mansion, Bridget and Crystal Camden realize they're both wearing green dresses to the AFI event. Totally harmless, right? But Bridget, to this day, thinks producers sabotaged her with this edit. She'll claim someone had it out for her right from the start, and that this scene was altered to make it appear that Bridget was displeased with Crystal. I think it's important to remember that reality TV in 2005 was still learning how to manufacture drama narratives. Kendra is the last to leave the salon, which incidentally makes her late getting dressed, and everyone is waiting for her downstairs. This is going to be a repeating theme throughout the series. Kendra's a bit scattered and often late. And if you ask me, it does come across a bit rude. I can see where Kendra's flippancy would cause strife among the other girls, and we learn that it does.
Kendra really needs to get a secretary because she's really scatterbrained as far as being in the right place at the right time or being on time or remembering she has to do something. Sometimes we're stuck in a situation where Hef is like, where's Kendra? And I'm like, well, I told her 1,000,000 times, and it doesn't matter. Hef will get grumpy with me. Why didn't you tell Kendra that we're leaving at such and such a time? And I'm like, I did. So that's not that comfortable.
Holly makes a remark about Hef often getting testy with her over Kendra not being on time. And Holly doesn't understand why she has to be the keeper of Kendra's schedule. So we've got a gang of girls plus Hef shown downstairs around a grand dining table while they wait on Kendra. I recognize Carmela de Caesar. She was a Playmate of the Year, and was also a contestant on the 2002 show Who Wants to Be a Playboy Centerfold. Crystal Camden is there in green. Tiffany Fallon, she too was a Playmate of the Year, and another Playmate, Destiny Davis. When Kendra finally enters the room, it's time to head out to the limo. But of course, just as everyone is almost on their way, we hear Kendra say something like, "Oh shoot, I left my ID." So the show is leaning pretty hard into Kendra as the flighty one, or dare I say, the ditzy one. At the Kodak Theater, the girls in Hef walk the red carpet and pose for the press. Holly describes her role as the main girlfriend. It's mostly about quietly behaving and not doing or saying anything stupid.
People assume that we are all skanks. I think jealous. People think that, but I think people respect us too, you know? They look at us and they're like, wow, you know, that's so cool to me.
Kendra makes a few endearing, self-effacing comments about not measuring up to the beautiful people she's been thrust around in the public eye. But then, swinging between insecurity and confidence in the same breath, she says, "I think people look at us and they think we're skanks, but I think they respect us." Oh, Kendra. Back at the mansion, everyone is winding down for the night. Kendra wants to watch a movie with her Playmate pal, Destiny, so she breezes into Hef and Holly's room, casually, carefree, to pick out a film. Holly narrates that Kendra is not as careful as her and Bridget are because she is so young and hasn't gotten with the program yet. I can see what she's saying, but I'm also of the opinion that Hef was truly attracted to Kendra's carefree, wild nature, and we'll see him cater to that over the years and throughout the show. Frankly, I think that always rubbed the other girlfriends, particularly Holly, the wrong way. That Kendra got away with stuff they did not. The episode concludes with Holly and Kendra almost negating each other's points of view and future goals for themselves within the world of Playboy and as Hugh Hefner's girlfriends.
In 5 years, I see myself alone with Hef. Not that I don't necessarily want other people around, but do I like him having other girlfriends? No. I know that I'm his number one girl, but I think he needs to get rid of the extra girls.
Yeah, honey. I love being here. Why would I leave here? Unless Hef wants me out or something, you know? I'm going to stay. This is a dream. I got to pinch myself. I got to wake up. There's nowhere else that I want to go.
Kendra's telling us how happy she is with her lifestyle there and how much she loves being a part of Hef's life. Basically, Kendra cannot imagine herself anywhere else. And Holly lets us know that her ultimate goal, or 5-year plan, does not include other women. Foreshadowing, anyone? What makes this premiere so compelling isn't the glamour. It's the hierarchy, the subtle tension, the performance of happiness. Episode 1 establishes devotion, competition, youth versus strategy, control versus chaos, and all of it wrapped in juicy couture velour. This show didn't just capture a moment in pop culture, it captured the contradictions of the early 2000s. Hypersexual but infantilized, empowered but dependent, glossy but messy. And we're just getting started. If you enjoyed this first episode of More Girls Next Door, please follow, rate, review, and share. I believe in this podcast, and I want to build it with you. We've got so much more tea, nostalgia, and messy pop culture history coming your way. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.
out the bricks.